Hi you guys, this is Rachel Kirkland, the Modern Shaman, and thanks for joining me for another YouTube question and answer video of this week. If you are new to our channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are glad you are here. This is a beautiful community of people and like-minded souls. Make sure that you share, you like, you comment, you spread the love with anyone else that you think would like this video, and that you send in your own questions. If you want to have your questions answered, go to my website at themodernshaman.net. Go to the contact form, fill it out, tell me it's a question for YouTube, and eventually you will get on here and get your question answered. Also, my website has got a ton of info of ways to get connected with me for personal sessions via Skype, phone, in person here in San Antonio, Texas, or when I travel. I do a lot of traveling, and my 2020 schedule is now online, although we're always adding dates. So you can always pre-order sessions if I'm going to be in your town or coming and touring and speaking near you. Look for those dates and set up sessions. I love having that set ahead of time. So here's the question of the week. It says, "Hi Rachel, I've been dealing with a narcissist mom that I really do love, but I feel so drained after we spend time together. I'm also a Reiki practitioner, and I'm wondering if there are any energy secrets or helpful tips for dealing with narcissists. The energy component of it makes me feel very, very exhausted. I really value your knowledge and psychic training. Thank you so much." Okay. Dealing with the energy of narcissists. This is a big topic right now. I feel like so many people are coming into their own awareness of having dealt with narcissists and kind of getting the languaging for what's going on and that archetype and personality type. And they didn't realize that's what they were dealing with the whole time. And it gives a lot of light to the situation and gives a lot of understanding to what they've been dealing with. So I think this question is really relevant. You're going to help a lot of people with your question. So the first thing I want to talk about is the energy pattern. And I mentioned in another video, and you may want to watch that, about inverted chakras, that sometimes the energetic field when I'm dealing with a narcissist, or when I'm in a session and I'm remote viewing and moving myself into the body of another person that they're trying to gain understanding of, if I'm remote viewing and moving myself into someone else's body, maybe they're having conflict with, oftentimes if I feel this energetic pattern of a narcissist, it shows and presents itself like a black hole, or this inverted chakra, this toroidal field that feels like everything that comes out comes and feeds back into their own sense of self. So even when they give, and they may be loving and trying to be wonderful or whatever, whenever they're trying to give from this state of themselves, it still only feeds the energy back into their own field. And this is always pretty confusing to people, because they'll be dealing with a narcissist and thinking like they're giving these breadcrumbs of what seems really wonderful. And so people kind of fall for it in a manipulative way. And I don't think that the narcissists are really conscious that their energy feeds back this way. In fact, there's a lot of unconscious energetic feeding that goes on within this pattern. They're sending out, and they think they're being loving. They think they're being a good parent. They think they're saying the right thing. They're giving the right advice. But it's really always about them. It's really always to come back and feed a sense of self. So even those nuggets or those little breadcrumbs that they may be giving to you, that they're like, other people are hanging on, like, oh gosh, they did something really wonderful. This was so wonderful this time. Then there's a snapback effect, like a rubber band that just pulls straight back into that person, and you're left feeling hurt. You're left feeling really used. You're left feeling like that energy was just a tease instead of a genuine sense of reciprocity or giving, or there was no energetic exchange in it. So that's the first thing I would say as someone like yourself who deals in an energetic realm and modality of Reiki and is clairsentient, right? Picking up the non-physical energetic communication that's going on, is that a narcissist energy field will always feed back to itself. It's like a feedback loop. And so being conscious of that and conscientious of your own energy when dealing with them is imperative. This brings me to point number 2 about kind of a tip or something to be aware of when dealing with a narcissist and their energy. And that is that you have to have strong boundaries physically in the material realm as well as energetically. Now, the first thing that I would suggest on the physical realm is that you have really outlined strong time references and space or spatial references. How often you are capable of being in their physical presence, because there is a literal energetic drain. Not little. Literal. I said little and I'm like, oh, no, it's big actually. It's a literal drain. Beyond just an energetic vampire. It's like a black hole. Everything that's around it feeds into that drama, into their story, into their creation of themselves. And so they don't realize it, but they're pulling energy. Again, it's like a black hole. It's just pulling at all points from everything around it to sustain this large energetic field that feels kind of inflated, but gives them that sense of security in dealing with it. So when you are dealing with a person who's been identified as a narcissist and you're conscious of this, even in a loving space, not in a judging space, just identifying it, knowing your own capabilities energetically, you need to define out a point of how often you're willing to be in their physical presence. And this is also inclusive of phone calls. Okay, because remember, energy is not bound by time or space. So when you are interacting with them on the phone or Skype or anything like this, you're also energetically interacting in the now space. They are pulling from your energy beyond space and time just as easily, even through the frequency, right, of audible sound when you're talking on the phone. And it's pulling from your emotional space. It's still very active. So I would set a time that you're comfortable with, whether it's once a week or 30 minutes a week or 1 hour a month, 1 day a month, whatever you're comfortable with. Be very, very sincere with yourself, asking your own heart, like, how much am I capable of giving? Because it's energy you won't get back. It's energy that is given like a gift. And think of it that way, of like, what am I willing to give as a gift of myself energetically? Okay? That still feels like you can sustain your own field of self-love and self-care and self-maintenance. Then I would move into the energetic boundaries, okay? And this is important for all empaths or clairsentients, but to have a sense of knowing before you move into a conversation, before you move into an engagement with someone else, what you are energetically capable of, and setting boundaries that feel like once that conversation's over, I drop any and all residual energy right there, okay? Give yourself a sense of statement, whether it's like when I take my shoes off or when I turn away or when I hang up the phone, any and all energetic residue that I picked up from that conversation or that person must leave my energy and my body now, okay? Line up with that sense of boundary for yourself. And they may be different for each person, but I would give yourself a pattern of energetic boundary that feels like you have a threshold of when you walk away, then the energy drops, then the residue ends, or when the phone hangs up, all energetic residue is released and your body is clean and clear. The third thing that I would suggest is to have a regular practice. Now, this is good for everyone, and I would suggest this for everyone, even if you're not dealing with a narcissist. But anytime you have, or you go through a time period where you have toxic backlash, that's what I call it. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what I call it. And I see it come up a lot. Even we're moving into the holidays, which is a very relevant time that sometimes people who have dealt with ancestral trauma and worked through a lot of baggage with family or their past, they've cleared it, they've done the work, they've dug into their own shadow, and they're like, I'm doing good. Now I got to go back to mama's house, deal with these energies, and they come back home after a holiday time or after a time dealing with this narcissistic energy or dealing with a narcissistic boss or dealing with a bipolar energy. These are all pulling energies. And they have this toxic backlash, okay? And your own energetic form has to have a practice of how to clean and clear itself, okay? And there are many of them out there, so I'd find one that resonates with you, but I'll give you, just because you asked for tips, I'll give you a tip now that I would suggest, which is a bathing ritual, okay? Bathing rituals are super easy. You can do them, in the privacy of your own home and your bath. So a bathing ritual would utilize salt, or you can, if you can't use the salts, you can also use stones that are purifier stones to clear you using the water. I would imbue the water with that intention. So get your bath going, place your hands in the water before you get into them, saying a prayer, a sincere space of the heart, imbuing the energy of that water, because if you've ever seen Dr. Emoto's work, water is incredibly powerful, okay? And it takes the intention and translates it into the molecules of the water itself. It works miracles for you. That's why holy water has been around forever as well. Blessed water is really a thing. So imbue it and bless it with the intention to clear any and all toxic debris from your interaction or from your day or from your holiday time or from whatever it may be. Just maybe from an argument. You can utilize this in any way that it's resonant for you. So imbue that water with that prayer of clearing any and all toxic debris from your body while you're in the water, and let it all drain from your form and move through the actual drain in the bathtub. Then get in the bath and steam it out, okay? Use as much heat as you possibly can, utilizing the salt as a detoxifier and the steam as a detoxifier of anything that's held in the tendons and the muscles, in the blood, moving it out of the body. And I would stay in there for as long as you possibly can with as high a heat as you possibly can. Obviously, if you have blood pressure problems, be kind to your body, be cautious and aware of your body. But move yourself into a steam, a ritual steam, okay? Knowing that as you're breathing that in, as you're moving everything out, it's detoxifying the body. And then at the very end, move yourself into a cold bath. So for the last 2 minutes, do a cold flush. This shuts down the pores. It also shuts down the sense of the body saying it's finished. There's a completion to the ceremonial bath that says, this is cleaned and cleared and fresh. This also pumps in fresh oxygenated air into the system, into the blood, shedding the pores that have just let out all that detox and moving them now into restoration. So they start resealing themselves and assimilating the energy that has now just kind of been recalibrated. They've let out everything through the detox and the steam and the salt, and now they are sealing themselves up, kind of like cauterizing a wound. They're sealing up all of their open portals to energy and creating a sense of seal and finished product for yourself. Then after that quick cold bath for about 2 minutes, I would hold it for as long as you can, maybe 2 minutes, all the way over the body. Head, you can jump in the shower for this if you need to. Don't literally jump, but move into the shower. And then the final step is to lay out on the floor, air dry. So place towels on the floor and lay out and move into rhythmic breathing here. Now this is the end of the ceremony where you give thanks, where you move into a sense of blessing, where you move into that umbrella-spaced love for the person, accepting the fact that they are going to have to be their own hero in their story. And this is the case with narcissists. We cannot heal them, fix them for themselves. They have to find that for themselves. The story is always about them. The energy will always cycle through to them. So giving a sense of prayer and permission and asking that they find a way to be the own hero in their story, to come through, and that your love is broad enough in an umbrella sense to just love from beyond, love broader. Also giving that healing restoration to your own body. When you're in that place of breathing, and when I said rhythmic breathing, it's just an easy pattern of breathing for yourself. You can box it out where you breathe out for 4, hold for 4, breathe in for 4, hold for 4. Or you can just do a relieving breath where you're audibly letting your body hear that it has been restored. It's now in an energy of relief. Okay? And when you're doing that breathing pattern, again, amplifying the energy for yourself of gratitude, of peace, of like, I feel better. It's really important not to skip that step. Your body needs to know that it's not the same as it began when it started that bath. That's the end of the ceremony. It's the end of every healing. It should be an amplification of the change that has taken place. This solidifies in the new vibrational frequency as your new base, your new clean and clear base. Okay, I hope those things are helpful to you, just identifying the pattern in terms of that black hole feeling energy, giving yourself a strong sense of material and psychic boundaries, energetic boundaries, and then moving into a regular pattern of having a ritual of clearing. All right. Mwah. Blessings, you guys. I will be back here next week.